Rivkie and myself, we are shluchim, which means emissaries of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. On his first night, on his inaugural address in the winter of 1951, he began to teach on a verse from the book, A Song of Songs, Basi Lagani. Basi Lagani are two Hebrew words which means, I have come into my garden. And he expounded and he explained this is referring to God, and the garden is his world. And he laid out his vision that each one of his Hasidim would be a gardener. And with this inspiration, Rivkie and I took up the calling, moved to Plano in 1992, 30 years ago.
It was greatly valued, this entire shlichus, and going out to open up a Chabad house idea. And that was the model that I wanted for my life, that when I was looking for someone to marry, I made sure that the person wanted to go on shlichus and have a Chabad house as well.
It was very exciting for us to know that we have a little garden that we can now plant and tend to, and be that vigilant gardener. When you move out to a community, it's usually at the beginning of your marriage. And for Rivkie and I, that's the way it was. We were about 2.5 years married. Our oldest Ellie was 18 months and our youngest Mushki was a month.
There are 8 of us in the family.
I'm the oldest. I'm 31, just turned 31. Mushki is turning 30.
I'm 29.
Shalom must be a year younger than that.
Shalom is 27.
Chanala is a year and a half younger than that.
Chanala is 26.
And then there's the second half of the family, that's Shmuley, he's 19, 20. Nechama, 19.
Nechama is 18.
Basi, I want to say like 16.
And then Devorah, the youngest, is 9. 11.
I think that's all of them. Yeah.
This is our little garden, our personal garden that we've been planting along the wider garden of the Plano community. And we grow together.
So growing up as a child of a rabbi and a rebbitzin who's running a Chabad, childhood is in many ways similar to a regular, typical childhood.
We definitely grew up in the public eye. Our life was a community-centered life, and that affected our life at home.
The focus of the home is definitely centered around the activities of the Chabad. To a large extent, that defines the ebb and flow and the schedule of the home.
Where we started to really build the Chabad, we had this back room, and that was like some semblance of a separation between our personal house and the Chabad. But then as we grew, we were literally having classes of children in the kitchen, in the dining room, in the guest room. We were outgrowing it.
This life definitely didn't come without a price tag for the family, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily see or realize as it's happening.
No, certainly growing up with parents that are actively involved in spreading Judaism influences you in a deep way. You actually kind of see the farm-to-table product. We see the ideas, but not just the ideas, but how they're implemented in action. It doesn't make it surprising. It doesn't seem like a sacrifice.
I think it was difficult for the children to, at some points, to not have that privacy and not have their own space. And that came right as we were building the Chabad. And then life got much simpler in a way.
Even though it came with a lot of work, there was cooking and there was shopping and there was setting the table and clearing the table and making sure the house was clean, and we were a part of that whole process. We loved it, and we really wouldn't have it any other way. At the end of the day, though, we all chose to continue their legacy and have the same lifestyle and raise our children in the same way that we were raised. I myself live in Frisco. My brother is doing Young Professionals. My sister runs the Chabad in Rockwall. My other brother does the camp and Chabad in McKinney and Allen. And what greater testament to our upbringing than the fact that we all chose to to continue that legacy and to raise our kids in that same way.
So when we started to build the Chabad was about 8 years into our being here, in Plano. Once we had the home base, everything changed for the family. Family had its own home, but it also changed for the Chabad family. We also felt as a family, Chabad family, we finally had a home. And it really gave us the opportunity to grow. About 15 years into Rivkie and I being here in Plano, we realized that we were maxed out in what we could offer the community and that we needed assistance. And we went back to headquarters of Chabad, Crown Heights, New York, and we recruited a young couple then, Rabbi Yehuda and Esther Horowitz, and they joined us here and they headed up all of our youth programming together, and they've been the perfect partner gardeners to work alongside us and help head up a lot of the programs and the youth activities, and we've grown exponentially since they've come here, and we hope and continue to grow together for many years to come.
Our summer camp is called Camp Gan Israel, which is a garden, and our preschool is called Gan Gani, which is also my garden. So we definitely like this theme of a garden.
But as much as each spot in the world is its own little garden, each plant, a flower that grows, is also unique within the garden. And this has been something that Rivkie and myself have always paid attention to, that a community is not built from the top. You have to get into the trenches. You have to become a gardener. You have to till the soil, you have to plant the seeds. And each Jew that we met over the course of the years is another seed.
We are probably more along the lines of being a wildflower garden, in that there's not this row of roses and this row of tulips, and we know and we expect that that's what we're going to see when we planted those seeds, that's what's going to grow. The plan is only to provide the tools, like the water and the sunshine and the things like that, to allow these things to grow.
And we have been blessed to be able to look back on 30 years. We've opened up so many programs and so many activities, and so many people have walked in different doors to connect in different ways. And that's what the Rebbe taught us. Shlach lach b'chal pnei hamayim. You do your thing. You give love, you give joy, non-judgmental approach. Welcome everybody. Teach them from the Torah. And if you plant diligently, hazorim b'dima, those who plant with tears, Barini Yuktseiro will reap with joy.